We're back, and here we go with Ask Annex. Got a question for us? You head to the website, annexwealth.com. We get back to everybody. Don't have to be a client for that. In the studio, Fred Coleman, a CFP and a wealth manager at Annex Wealth Management. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Danny.
Yeah, we got Matt Morzy, investment team manager and a CFP. Welcome.
Hey, Danny.
Question number one, Ask Annex. Roth conversions are in my future in the next several years. I'll do more research, but do most convert all at once, or do you spread out over several years?
For the most part, you want to spread those out. And the reason is because anytime you do a Roth conversion, that's ultimately added to your income. So if you do $1 million Roth conversion, there's going to be an additional $1 million added to your income, which ultimately is going to push you into a higher tax bracket. So spreading that out, spreading that million out over, let's say 20 years or 10 years, that's going to make that tax hit a lot easier. Because anytime you do too much at one time, not only is it going to increase the amount that you're paying to the IRS, but it's also in that given year, it's going to affect different deductions, credits, can even affect your Medicare. So if you're retired, you want to be extra careful as well, because, again, it can affect your Medicare and you can get penalized if you make too much.
Do we lay that out for our clients?
Absolutely, absolutely. So one of the big things that we do here at Annex is a Roth conversion analysis, and that goes along with our tax plan. And so that's not only looking at the current year, but looking out into the future. You can't necessarily project tax rates, but we can look at them, what they are now, what we know they're going to be, and plan out your income for years to come.
Next up on Ask Annex, earnings season coming up. What companies or sectors are being watched by your investment people? Is there a trend you're interested in?
Great question. I reached out to Jason Cooper on our team, who basically just lives in earnings calls for the next couple months. And, his response to that is that he's monitoring all sectors. He's listening to earnings calls for all the companies that we own on behalf of our clients and the portfolios that we manage, ones that we're thinking about adding to a portfolio, or even some that we've sold recently to, just check in to see how they're doing. So he's like, the coverage base is really large. What he's really looking for as he listens to those is what can he grasp on every single company that he listens to, but also what does that mean for the markets as a whole? So markets have rallied quite a bit here recently. Do the earnings that are coming in now and their projections for future quarters, does that justify a lot of what we've seen so far, or are there just warning cracks that come up to show, hey, maybe we've come a little too far too fast? Other things that he likes to listen to or kind of hear from is, we've been living in a cycle of higher interest rates over the last year or two, much higher than they were, pre-COVID and really since the financial crisis. So those higher interest rates, what does that do to the balance sheet and the health of the company that they see? And then the Fed's been, basically broadcasting that they're going to be cutting later this year. And that's something we're still watching to see how much we actually think that they do. But if that happens, how does that impact some of those companies? The impact of what that interest that they're paying is, or potentially them pushing out to get new loans that they need. They might be waiting to get a lower rate later on, and how important that could be for each company. One of the things that we get asked out a lot about is AI. So he's looking to see the companies that mention that, and are they using it, and what does that really even mean for each one of those companies, or is that something they're just saying? And are they able to increase their profit margins because of being able to streamline some of what they do? And do they pass that along to consumers at all? Or is that something that stays directly with that company? And kind of what the trend looks like for that too. So that's something he's really interested in.
Do you need some sort of special genetic makeup to listen to that many earnings calls?
To be on him constantly, I would think so. Jason loves this kind of stuff. This is what he really lives for, and really derives a lot of value from listening to those calls. So that it is a lot, and it is pretty taxing, but he gets a lot out of it.
Now, folks, we've really got a talented investment team that's always working on behalf of our clients. Question 3 on Ask Annex. I'd like to work only part-time. What kind of planning does that require? I'll probably work enough hours to still qualify for the company-provided health care.
Yeah, this is the great thing about financial planning. Every plan is different. Every plan is tailored to your individual circumstances. So if you qualify for healthcare, first off, that's going to eliminate your healthcare costs. So that's one less cost that you'll have. So we can look at your expenses. Will they be higher? Will they be lower? And if you're used to getting a certain wage and your income drops, sometimes that's a big adjustment. So we may have to supplement some income from other sources. So starting to plan that out. And then also thinking about when we're going to take Social Security. So, you may choose to delay Social Security a little bit longer because you're getting that part-time income. And then lastly, how does it affect your tax picture? Are Roth conversions available? Does this lower your income tax? Does it increase your income tax? All those things go into your financial plan.
So we talked to Susie Lopez about part-time retirement a couple of weeks ago, and that video on the Annex Wealth Management YouTube channel has just got huge amount of traffic. So I think people are interested in this.
Yeah, that's a great piece. And it's becoming more and more relevant where, whether it's because people need a hobby or just for some additional income, the world is hard.
But again, we always say if you're going to get into retirement, you need to retire to something rather than from something. So if you're trying to just make the pain stop, on your particular job, you really need to think of it beyond that. Yeah. Matt Morzy is investment team manager, also a CFP at Annex Wealth Management. Thank you.
Thank you.
Fred Coleman, CFP and a wealth manager at Annex Wealth Management. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Dan.